Today's video is gonna be my journey to Islam, I guess, or how did I become Muslim. So the reason I really accepted Islam, it was kind of a progression ever since I was maybe a child. I don't even know now, looking back at some events of my life, I guess that was just meant to happen for me. So I guess a series of events occurred and I just couldn't ignore it. So I've always been looking for my faith, or I was looking for what do I believe in, or I was on a spiritual quest, I guess I would say, on a spiritual journey. So I went through like learning about Buddhism and, you know, meditation, but like with mantras and, you know, all the other not necessarily monotheistic religions. But the only thing I knew that I believe in one God. So that was really the key to everything for me, because I believed in one God, but I didn't really like the Christianism, you know, Christianity thing. Christianity, I didn't understand, I didn't agree with it, I didn't understand it, I always questioned it, and no one was really able to give me a proper answer until, of course, I got to Quran and to Islam. So in Islam it was like a no-brainer for me. I still remember my first books that I checked out. I actually didn't read that much about Islam prior to understanding that I am actually Muslim. It's just I started reading Quran, which made sense. It just spoke to me, and then I had a book about a few questions and answers or something. So there was no Trinity, you believe only in one God. So that really stuck to me at that time. And that's, you know, how inevitably it was mainly it happened when I moved to London, because in London it was the first time that I actually encountered Muslims and I got in contact with Muslim people. So before that I wasn't exposed to it, I guess. I didn't have the knowledge and I didn't show an interest in it, because from where I come from, or like even in Italy, because I've been living there for the most part of my life, I guess, at this point. So even in Italy you talk about, you know, oh, them, like people who come from Morocco or everything, they're just immigrants. Oh, immigrants, they, you know, they dressed us in this black abaya and that's it. You don't worry about the religion, so-called. So I never inquired, or I never got to it until I came to London. And then in London I met all these Muslim people, and this is wearing hijab and that was wearing hijab, and everyone, it was just so normal. And I was working with a few Muslims and some of them weren't wearing hijab as well. So it was not just a question of hijab or not. I understood for once that you can be Muslims and not wear hijab, or you can look proper, you know, just like me, and you can be Muslim. So that's how eventually I realized this is actually what I believe in. And then of course it wasn't easy with my family. I think that's the main point that I want to put it out there. It still is not easy. It's still a journey, a work in progress. Every time I go to Italy it's still very hard to get out of the house. In a way, I do get out of the house. I got to the point where I get out with hijab now, so it's good, but it's like I'm not so keen on showing that I'm Muslim. I'm not so keen, that would sound bad maybe, but it's very hard for me to be among others, because I feel like everyone is judging me, and for them it's not very common, and they question, why do you wear this on your head and why did you choose to wear it? So the choice to wear hijab came a few months, and almost 6 months after I took my shahada. So it was something that I learned a lot about. I read so many books about why you should cover up or why you shouldn't. And now looking back at it, I would say that wearing or not wearing hijab is a question of, it's another act of worship. So either you do it or not, it's the same thing either you, as if, you know, it's the same choice that you make when you decide to pray or not to pray. So that's how the hijab came around for me. It just happened like that. I went to visit my mom in Italy, and then coming back, I have already decided, so I made my mind up that I would be wearing a hijab, and I told her and everything. Of course, she didn't agree with it then. She doesn't necessarily agree with it now. However, she's a bit more like accepting of it, so that's good. But yeah, so from that travel, it was November, how many years ago now? I believe it was November, maybe 3 years from now, 3 years ago. I just, when I traveled back and I was at the airport, I didn't even tell my husband at the time, so I just went into the bathroom, ladies you know, restrooms, and I just put on a hijab, and people were looking at me oddly. I still remember that I got in the toilet, and then I came out and I just put a hijab on. Or actually, no, I got in the toilet without a hijab, but I came out with a hijab on, and then I just went out, and that's it. And then I still don't know, I never asked what my husband thought of it, because he's the one that met me at the airport, and I just came out and I had the hijab on, so he recognized me and he saw me. I don't know what he thought, but yeah, that was my journey. So I might be sharing more in the future, so if you're curious about this, you can leave me questions down below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm gonna subscribe. You can tell I'm a bit emotional about this topic. It's a topic very near and dear to my heart. I still struggle to talk to many people about it, actually, to be honest now. Looking back at it, it's something that I'm not ashamed of, but it's just very hard to explain it to people, because people have so many judgments about it and so many misconceptions, and unless you are on a spiritual journey of some sort and you are looking for, you know, believing in something, I feel like you won't understand, or like people don't get it when and now that I'm, you know, practicing and everything, I understand that when you don't read Quran, or when you're not necessarily into a good place, so-called, you don't understand it, you just don't get it, or some people don't get it, I don't know. So that's what makes it very hard for me to talk about it with others or to explain it to others, because I'm personally, by nature, I'm a very curious person, so I like to read about anything and everything, and especially personal development, faith or spirituality. In the past especially, it was spirituality a lot. Now I kind of left it because I found what I believe in, and I don't feel like I need more, but I still, you know, love learning about Quran and everything, but it's just very specific, so I read about Islam, and then I'm just, so being very curious by nature, I'm very open-minded to everything and anything, so that's just one aspect of me. But I do realize that many people are very, you know, they have one point of view, they live in a black and white kind of world, so it's very hard for them. And yeah, that's it. I personally, so if one of the questions may be how is it hard to wear hijab or all those things, of course it's hard, everything is hard. I actually thought about it so many times, and I thought about, you know, taking it off. At the end of it, I just stick with it for now. So for the moment, it's been 3 years, it's been going good, and I always try to keep it positive, to find hijabs that I love and I like, and of course you want to find a style that makes you look good. Not that I look good now, I do think I look quite good. Anyway, so it's, you know, inspiration, finding inspiration online. There's so many fashion bloggers right now that it's overwhelming, so you literally have a wide choice. Just make sure that you adhere to the actual principles of hijab, because I guess that's my journey. yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. If you have any questions about, you know, my faith or how did I come to Islam, the more specific, because in this moment in time nothing comes to my mind, just leave them down below and I'll try to as much to either answer to you guys one by one, comment back, or I might even put them all together and do another video about it.